Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 2024 Open and 212 Olympia preview with this man, Jose Raymond, the Boston Mass, a 10-time Olympian himself. Please welcome somewhere near Boston, Jose Raymond. What's up, Jose?
What's up, Ron?
Let's remind everyone of the record before we get started. Who is this guy, Jose, to talk about Olympians? Well, 10 years in a row, he stood on that stage, and the worst he ever did was the first time, and he got sixth. Fourth, third, second, third, fifth. Hell of a track record. That's why you're on the Mount Rushmore when they start carving that out of the mountain.
Yeah.
So we are definitely going to give equal treatment to 212 on this preview. I've done a couple shows where I didn't even mention the 212. If I did that with you, you'd probably bash my face in. How dare you, Ron? So we're going to get to it. But we will start with the open guys. That's of course the big excitement. It's what most people really want to talk about. So the first guy we were going to talk about is your defending champion, Derek Lunsford. This guy just knocked our socks off last year. It was super close. First of all, we'll show him next to Hadi, but you were there from the beginning with this guy. You competed with him in one of your last Olympias. What's it like been watching him rise up from a rookie to Mr. Olympia in just a few years' time?
Well, it goes further back than that. I was at the USA's when he placed second as a middleweight, and I went up to him after the show and I was like, "You look crazy, kid." I'm like, he was posing his legs in his front relaxed, like with his knees locked out, like just standing there locked out. And I'm like, just unlock your knees. And I helped him with a couple little posing tips, and he's like, "Oh man, thanks so much. I'm a huge fan." Then the very next year, he won the overall.
Wow. Yeah.
And as a light heavy. It was either a year later or couldn't have been more than 2 years later. He won the overall. Then he went to Tampa a week or two later, won there. And then he went to the Olympia. Yeah. And he was, I think, fifth or fourth that year.
Fifth, first time out. Yeah.
Yep. And then, he was off to the races. He was incredible. And he's still, even at this stage of the game, improving at that rate. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a whole new Derek again, because the improvements he made from going from 212 to open was astronomical. Yeah. And then from open to winning was astronomical once again in such a short period of time. And
he's only, I think he's 31 now. He's still a young guy in bodybuilding.
Yeah. Dude, I didn't do my first pro show till I was 34.
That's right. Well, you turned down your pro card like 6-7 times before that. So
yeah, it's just crazy how much he's done. He's the only 212 and open Mr. Olympia. It's astonishing what he's been able to do. And that said, I actually picked Hadi to win last year.
Really? So, well, you know what? You weren't wrong. I think that was one of the most, we've had a lot of close Mr. Olympias, but that one I had no idea which way it was going to go. No idea.
No. And looking at the pictures today, I'd still say I'd pick Hadi. But that said, this is a new year. And like I said, if he's continuing to improve at the pace that he has been, then I would not bet against him. That's for sure.
Yeah. And you think this is one of the greatest backs we've ever seen in bodybuilding? I'm freaked out by this kid's back.
I do, especially on that frame. Like he has Dorian's back on Benaziz's frame. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And he's super, super wide for a short guy. It's just he posted something yesterday. My buddy Steve Cantone sent it to me, and he's like, "What am I looking at here?" Of him just standing there. He had done a couple of pull downs, and then he was just standing there, and there's just so much meat hanging off him. It's wild. That's not the one. It's one where he's facing away, doing pull downs.
Must have deleted it already.
No, it's right there.
Where was it? Which one?
Right there to the right, bottom.
Oh, this one. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember a photo shoot. Hector was shooting him for Gasp at a gym in Tampa. He was walking from one end of the gym to the other with his shirt off, and the lats were all hanging down like to the ground. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, wait till he finishes this set when he stands up.
Okay.
And it's just, and he's relaxed, and there's just meat everywhere. It's crazy how wild his back is. But when I looked at the rear lat spread comparison last year, I actually thought Hadi had more width, more. Look at
Yeah.
him standing there.
Like a right angle that thing comes out at almost.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that right there.
Looks like AI. Looks like something that only a computer generated image could give us something like that.
Yeah. And the level of detail and conditioning, and not only the back, but the glutes and hams, it makes that back all that much more special.
Yeah.
Because he's literally got everything from behind.
And I feel like he gets a lot of flack unjustly. They say, well, he's just got a great back. He looks like crap from the front. People say he's got no this, no that. Come on, guys. I hear people, he's got no chest, he's got no abs, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I agree he could have better separation detail across that whole front shoulders and the chest and the arms area, but he's had a whole year. He's had a whole year to improve, while most of these other guys have still been doing shows. Hadi competed back in March. Derek had a nice off season.
Yeah.
Cruising into this is going to be a hell of a rematch.
Listen, nothing about him sucks. His back is clearly better than the front, but his front doubles arguably the best in many years with that tiny waist vacuum width. He obviously he's Mr. Olympia. People love to shit on Mr. Olympia, but
it's true.
Could he be better, and will he be better? Hell yes. He's gonna continue to improve his density in his chest and shoulders, in the arms. Like that, it's all improved tremendously in the last few years. It's just got to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, give the kid some credit. He's only done 2 Olympias, and he got second the first time, and he won the second try. So,
right.
Here's Hadi though, but Hadi's coming on strong. So a lot of people, I don't know if you were at the Arnold levels, and I was watching at home. I felt like this Hadi definitely would have beat the Derek that he faced off last fall at the Olympia, but he's not going to face that Derek. He's going to face a Derek that's had a whole year to improve. But do you see it being obviously they're the top 2 favorites, so that they're 1 and 2. They're like the new Jay and Ronnie rivalry, basically. But what does Hadi need to do to get his title back?
I think he just needs to be focused. I think something must have gone wrong in last year's prep, whether it be an injury that we didn't know about or a miscalculation that we didn't know about. But whatever it was, he fixed when he went to the Arnold England, Arnold UK.
Yeah.
Because that was pretty much an untouchable look. And, he's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he needs to do. I think he'll come back looking like that, if not better. And damn, that's going to be hard to beat. I don't care who it is. Because his strength is detail everywhere, like a sparkling diamond. Every angle he has detail and things popping out, and nobody else does.
It's that Samson. Where am I going? Yeah, I mean the thing people were. This is the one I want to go back to. People were talking about. He looks behind when they're looking at some prep pictures. I'm thinking, Hadi's never behind. He might be a little. We've seen him like a touch off at the judging and then come back the next night looking ridiculous. But I've never seen this guy in his prep really behind. With Connie Rambot as your coach, I don't see how anyone's behind. I think that's just idle speculation.
Do we know if Hadi's in Texas with Hani?
I believe he's all the posts I've seen lately. Let's take a look at everything he's been posting lately, unless these can't be old things, but let's go to his Instagram. I'm pretty sure he's been here for a while. They don't take chances with him anymore. bringing him in at the last minute like they used to.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Let's take a look. So let's get there to that. I see him with Hani, but you never know like when that, because sometimes he comes to Texas and he goes back and forth a couple times. So we're on his Instagram now. So these are old pictures.
I saw him training with Hani like a couple days ago.
There we go. Yeah.
Doing squats. But I didn't know if that was here or there or where it was.
Well, it says 15 days out, and I don't think Hani would go to Iran. So I'm going to take a wild guess. I think this might be like the Evogen private gym right here.
Oh, okay.
Now, Hani's got his own gym at Evogen. Yeah, they typically get him here now like a good 3 or 4 weeks before the show, just so he's all settled in and there's no flying or anything. This guy, what do you think about his practice of going so heavy, so close to the show?
You know, I always did the same thing, but I didn't go quite as heavy as him.
This is ridiculous.
That's the only thing I'm scared of, is that he wants this so bad and he trains so damn heavy at all times. It's almost unnecessary. Like, I don't know how many plates. Whenever I see him squatting, I'm like, those can't be 45s. That's got to be like 35s or something.
Oh, they're 45s. And these
He's
look
got
like
8 plates on there.
Yeah, these are like 180s he's pressing, it looks like to me. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's 7 45s. But it's only a Smith machine, right? So it doesn't count.
Dude, Smith machine's harder.
Well, they're not easy. They're not. It's not like a leg press. You're still squatting.
I was able to squat more freely and heavier on a free bar than I could with a Smith machine.
Really? Wow.
Huh. Yeah, because in a Smith machine, you're locked into like an unnatural position. Where with a regular squat, I'm able to maneuver my body differently.
What the hell is he doing here? Rack deads? Rack pulls? 1, 2.
Bent rows with 7 plates?
I hope not. Yeah, I mean, he must have some of the world's strongest strongest tendons we've ever seen on a human being. But
yeah, you know, he's doing walking lunges with 3 or 4 plates. Oh God.
That's a trooper, man. That is a trooper. He definitely wants the title back. But let's look at who else is in line. Who else wants to take it from him? So we just had Samson show up a little earlier than we thought. We thought we'd have to wait to the Olympia, but he popped into that France show, the Tsunami Nutrition Classic, blew it away, of course.
Yeah.
Condition. I know these live streams aren't always the best to judge condition by. Which that's pretty much the one thing I really want to see more of. I want to see a little more back thickness, but I feel like condition-wise, if he was ever in the same kind of condition that Hadi Choopan brings, this was Mr. Olympia all day. What do you think?
First of all, I have a lot of respect for Samson. I think it was a brilliant idea to compete. I think more of these top guys should be competing more. You know, I mean, you're a pro bodybuilder. You get paid to bodybuild. So why are we doing 1-2 show a year?
Yeah,
true. He should continue to do that. And I think he's going to be better for it. I think that extra stage time, practicing your craft, getting better, the backstage stuff, the timing, the night before, the tan, all that stuff, all that matters. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. And I applaud him for doing it. That said, it was pretty much what I expected. He wasn't crazy dry. He's huge, beautiful physique, beautiful shape. I didn't learn much from it. I hope he did, and I know he did. So we'll see. But I think it was awesome for him to do the show.
Yeah.
And I think he will definitely be better for it. Now, does that mean he's going to beat whoever? I don't know yet. We'll wait and see. But he's definitely a lock for, top 4, I'd say.
Okay. I mean, the one thing that was concerning was if he had gone 100% and dropped his water and done all that, got the usual peaking protocol you would do, to be 100%, then I'd be concerned because it takes time for the body to sort of rebound and reset after that. And he only had 13 days between this and Olympia. But if he just basically maybe did a slight water drop, walked in at 85%, which is like what it looked like to me, knowing that he could win it at that no problem, then it didn't jeopardize. Because I want to know your honest opinion. If somebody does peak 100%, drops water, and gets super shredded and dry, does that sometimes jeopardize their ability to do it again a week or two later?
I don't think so. I did it time and time again. Go to the Olympia 5 years in a row, go to the Olympia and then get on a plane and go straight to Korea. And then get on a plane and go straight to England and go straight to India. If you're in shape, you can pull it off. The further you are from your best, it's harder to do because now you still have body fat and water. But if you're 100%, I see no problem with doing back-to-back shows and being able to nail it.
Fair enough.
But I can see where people would be nervous, especially if they're not used to doing it. But no, I see nothing wrong with it. I think they should do it all the time. They used to do it all the time. Those tours in Europe, they would be like one night apart sometimes.
Yeah. They would do Saturday. They'd compete on a Saturday and a Sunday, rest a few days, and do that over and over again for like 3-4 weeks sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're flying like red-eye flights from one end of Europe to another to do the shows. So it can be done.
Yeah.
Here's the guy everyone
got better.
This is Chinedu Obika, aka Andrew Jacked. This is a guy a lot of people think has a very real possibility of jumping ahead of Samson this year, cracking top 3. This is how he looked back in Texas a few weeks back, winning that with ease. You've been privy to see some shots of him because you're a good friend of your former coach and good friend and his coach, Chris Aceto, who's done a tremendous job with Andrew.
Yes.
A lot of people say this is a future Mr. Olympia. They think it could even happen this year. What do you say to that?
I absolutely think it could happen this year.
Mm.
It's so hard to do this, but let's do this. Who do you think wins? This Texas Andrew or that Samson we just saw in France?
This Texas Andrew. I like it.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very unique look. Nobody looks like this guy.
Well, his waist is so tiny. His width, he's got quads. It's just a special look. It's very dominating.
Yeah, we talked about the fact that he needed a little bit more size. He's got such a long, tall frame to fill out. How close do you think he is to doing that?
Oh, very close. I am privy to a lot right now. He's gigantic.
Huh.
Absolutely gigantic.
So people talk about weight. Do you hear the body weight?
Oh yeah.
So roughly what's he at now? Can you share that, or is that a secret?
I know exactly what he weighs today. I know what he weighs yesterday. I know what he weighed a week ago.
Okay. Is he is he heavier now than he was at the Texas show, or is he lighter?
He's a lot bigger.
Wow.
Lot. But he's now there in, obviously crunch time and getting that all situated. But I mean, he's a big dude. When you're 6'2" and that big, I mean, how much did Lou Ferrigno weigh?
At his very biggest, he was like 315 one year, but back in the old days, he was about 270 on stage when he was in the pumping iron era.
Yeah.
And he was 6'3", I think, or 6'4".
Yeah. Put 40 pounds on that.
Yeah.
And he's 2 inches shorter, 3 inches shorter.
See, because of the fear, it's interesting that you say he's heavier because a lot of people said Texas, he was, again, like 85%, 90%. He wasn't fully dialed in for that the way he will be at the Olympia. And they were, the shit talkers were speculating by the time he gets into that condition and dries out, he's going to be so stringy and look so flat and small compared to what we're hoping for. But, you're giving us hope here that we're going to see something we've never seen before.
Well, here's the thing. Is it a glute contest? Is it a let's see who can get the driest contest? or is it who is the best physique on stage?
Mm,
Now, there's a certain minimum amount of condition you have to be competitive,
yeah,
but you can't chase Derek's glutes to try to win the Olympia. If he does that, that's a huge mistake.
yeah.
He's
So we,
got to he's got to play his game and come in big and beautiful, like the prettiest physique on stage and twice the size of everyone.
yeah,
You know,
The Mona Lisa. I love that.
right? And I don't think he has to have like crazy dugout glutes. As long as
Right.
you can see them, as long as it's lean and you can see detail and separation. Plus, he's literally twice as wide and massive.
Yeah,
Every shot, he could win every shot.
yeah, yeah. I agree.
If
I think it's if he doesn't win it this year, I'd be very very surprised if he doesn't win in the next year or two, just because
yeah,
he's getting better. He never had an off season until this past year. From the time he turned pro, it was just go go go. He
yeah,
never went more than like 6 months without competing. So we're starting to see his potential. And I know people talk about his age too, but I think he's like 40 or 41. That's nothing like it used to be in this world, or even in bodybuilding to be 40, because he's
I
young
don't
in the
think
sport.
I don't think he's 40.
Well, I think I keep hearing different ages, but whatever. I think 38, 39, 40, whatever he is, he's young in the sport. He's only been competing a few years. His body is not beat to hell yet, like it would be for someone that started competing when they were a kid. So let's move on. The mutant, Nick Walker. So this is the last time we saw him on stage, getting his qualification at the New York Pro, and everyone had just finished writing him off after seeing him guest pose in Pittsburgh shortly before this.
Yeah,
You were there. You were there right up front.
yeah.
It's not the best Nick Walker we've seen. But it was good enough to win this. How much better do you think he's going to be? Is he going to be as good as or better than the way he looked 2 years ago when he got third place?
Yes,
Hmm.
he'll be a lot better. If I know Nick, Nick's one of the hardest working guys, and he absolutely loves bodybuilding, and he just keeps improving. There's so much that he had to work with to improve upon. Like
Hmm.
that pose he just showed, his
Yeah.
lat spreads were not good, and this year in New York, it was good. He's improved a ton on his presentation. He's got as much muscle as anyone per square inch,
Hmm.
and his condition is always right there. You know, you can nitpick and say, "Oh, his glutes aren't as hard as." And again, I'm like so sick of the glute thing. It's like there's more to it than glutes. He has glutes. He has hamstrings. He's got great abs. He's conditioned. He was conditioned perfectly to win the New York Pro
Yeah.
and against a damn good Martin.
Yeah. We'll get to Martin. We'll get to Martin. Martin pushed him hard. So beating Martin was no cakewalk, because that was by far the best Martian I've ever seen. Yeah, Nick has actually been doing a lot less physique update pictures. I think he wants to keep us in suspense this time, which is fine. I get that. But
Yeah,
yeah, I would, people wrote guys like Cutler off back in the day saying he'll never win Mr. Olympia. He's too blocky. He's too this and that. I still think Nick Walker could very well have a Mr. Olympia title in his future.
why
Yeah.
not?
Why not? Why write this kid off? All right, moving on. We did Andrew. Here's a guy that we seem to forget about, even though he was Mr. Olympia in 2019. He's won the Arnold. He hasn't fallen lower than fourth place since he won 5 years ago. He's
Yeah,
always been in the top four. He's been kind of quiet as far as pictures and videos lately, which leads people to wonder, even me, like, is he not looking that great, or does he just want to shock us all? Are you privy to anything? Have you seen anything?
I haven't seen anything of recent, but I saw something 5 weeks ago, and he looked damn good.
Hmm.
Really, really good.
Okay.
I would be very surprised if he's not extraordinary.
Yeah,
Like he spent the night in the hospital last year
I
and
know.
still placed fourth.
Yeah, and that was by far the worst brand that I'd seen in a long time, and it was still good enough to get fourth place in Olympia.
Right. Now imagine a healthy Brandon who's able to train, not spending time in the hospital.
Yeah.
You cannot write this guy off at all. And he's, if you think about it, he compares the best to everyone because he's a shorter guy. He's in the like the Hadi, Derek, shorter frame, but he's big at the same time, and he's got the pretty physique like a Andrew or a Samson.
Yeah.
And he can stand with anyone. He doesn't get dwarfed by anyone.
True.
So, man, I'm not going to say he's going to win, but it wouldn't blow my mind if he was in the hunt in that top three. Just because of age and his recent placings, I would have him, fourth, fifth.
Yeah.
But like I said, he was sick last year and still made fourth. So
yeah, I mean,
why couldn't he jump up 2 or 3 spots?
You were at the press conference, right? I think there was an announcement at the press conference that he was withdrawing from the show. We were like, oh, damn, poor dude. So let's show you from the battle back. If he could come back and win, talk about a Cinderella story. People would lose their minds.
I would love it. I would love it. Then he can ride off into the sunset and
exactly. That's. I want to see him go out on a high note because he's got to be near the end. He's got to be. He's been competing a very long time, and he's done so much. He's got his family and all that, and his gyms. Yeah. I'd love to see him do great this year, and then you take the mic at the end and say, "Thanks for all the memories, guys. Love you all. Blah blah blah. Peace out."
Yeah. Time to go watch my kids turn pro in football.
Yeah, that's true. All right, this is one of the most. This guy gets so much hate because of his last name, because his dad was super famous bodybuilder and a supplement company owner, Labrada. Hunter Labrada. Here he is winning the Italy show a few weeks back. So this was the first look we'd had at Hunter since Olympia. So aside from the hairstyle, which he shaved his hair, physique, better or worse than last year?
I think he's better. I think he's better. He's improved. Here's the thing with Hunter, and I never really got a good look at him up close until this year at the New York Pro. We were training in a gym in New Jersey, and he's one of the biggest humans I've ever seen in person.
Huh.
Like his arms, his legs, he is massive. And that just tells you how big these other guys are, like Presti, because he didn't dwarf any of them. Right. And in person, I was blown away. He is an absolute freak. There's just some things that will come in time. Listen, you can't fix the pec tear, so yeah, that's one glaring weakness. But it's he's managed to win a lot of shows, so it's more the front to back, side to side condition completeness. That he needs to nail to make a jump.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a hernia because I have the same type. It's like a few inches above the belly button. It's called a gastric hernia, whatever it's called. That's an easy fix. That's like a your good client Josh Brown had a hernia surgery a few months ago. He's back to squatting 10,000 pounds again. So
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, he's not going to fix that between now and the Olympia, but he could certainly do it in the off season.
Yeah.
And I think Hunter's awesome. I don't understand all the hate. I guess.
I think he's had everything handed to him. It's just jealousy. It's all it is. Jealousy.
Yeah, it's because you remember his dad being so polished, and that's the word that I'm waiting for Hunter to have. That's the only thing he doesn't really have just yet is the perfect overall polish. He's got plenty of muscle. He's really not missing anything. He's just got to be 100%. And I don't think we've seen it yet. Yeah,
I agree. He's still a work in progress, but wish him the best. He's a good kid. And, he actually went to Bentley University in Waltham, my hometown, for 1 year. So he gets
Yeah.
10 extra points for that, Hunter. All right.
And it says a lot, dude, that he hasn't reached his potential yet, and he's already placed top 4 at the Olympia.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, until he got to the Olympia, he had never been defeated in a contest. He was straight one, whatever. It was like 6 or 7 shows in a row, all the way from his first show to the nationals. He won everything. So God bless. All right, Martin Fitzwater, the Martian. Ballsy, another ballsy move. He's already qualified by winning Detroit Pro, and he jumps into New York Pro knowing Nick Walker is going to be there, and he wasn't afraid. He showed up, and you know what? He pushed him hard. I mean, there were more than a few people who had Martin beating him.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I loved it. I loved that the confidence that he had, and he beat a damn good Vito, in Detroit.
Yeah.
And I compare Vito to Nick Walker in the freak factor.
Mm-hmm.
And if he could beat him, why not go beat Nick Walker too? So I think that was a brilliant move. It was a very smart for his career and for people to, hold him in a higher regard now. Because I guarantee you got a lot of people picking him to beat Nick at the Olympia.
Yeah.
And you got most people having Nick in the top 4. So where does that put Martin?
Yeah. I mean, we keep throwing the question on who's going to be the dark horse, who's going to surprise people. And Martin's name keeps coming up again and again as that guy. So it really wouldn't surprise me if he could leapfrog if this kid could make top 5, even 6th place would be phenomenal for his first Olympia. So
he's made an awesome run the last few years. The last year in Texas, or maybe it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He was second to Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there were some people that were like, Martin could have won that one. So he stood next to some great guys and didn't get blown away. So, I'm excited to see it. I think, and he's very young as well. What's he, 27, 28?
Yeah. Yeah. He's a kid. He's still a few years away from 30. So, yeah. And look at the condition he brings. He's going to be something.
He's very complete. He's got the small waist. He's got round muscle. I was amazed at how big he actually got, because he wasn't smaller than Nick. Like, in fact, his quads were bigger than Nick's.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's one to watch for sure.
Like I said, he almost beat Nick, and Nick's been 3rd place at the Olympia, and he's an Arnold Classic champ. So Martin he's up there. He's not a slouch. He's someone that's got every right to be in that first call out.
And it's a pretty physique too. It's very balanced and nice lines, and he's not just a freak. He's a pretty physique that's now turning into a freak.
Right. All right. Move on to Brazil's Rafael Brandão, who showed up at the Arnold South America a few months ago with more size, had a really nice off season, and came in with a new look. Pushed very hard by Tony Burton. It was close, but Rafael is a guy, I think 10th place is where he was at the Olympia a couple of years ago. And most of us agreed all he really needed was a little more size. Does he have enough size now to move up a little bit from where he was?
If he can repeat the condition he had when he was in 10th with this new size, then he could improve significantly.
Yeah. See, I wonder why he doesn't get it. I forget about him all the time, and it's awful. He's a great bodybuilder. I think he's just quiet. He doesn't talk shit. He just does his thing quietly, shows up, and kicks people's asses. So
well, he does talk shit, because he said Antonio Burton took a shit in his gym.
Right. He clogged the toilet. Right.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Last guy I want to talk about in open, because he's another guy I forget about him sometimes. Akeem, he did both Arnolds this year, and he's been through a few coaches. He's been through 5 or 6 coaches since I've known him, and now he's with Chris, and Chris did a phenomenal job. The difference between Friday and Saturday at the Arnold USA was, I think he ended up sharpening up to the point we moved up 2 places from Friday to Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I figured they would apply whatever they learned there at UK, and they did. And he ended up getting, I think, 4th. I think he was 4th place in the UK show. So, he doesn't have the greatest back shots only because he's got high lat insertions. That's his only. There's only, you know, we put that next to a Lunsford. It's not a contest, but geez, massive guy, crazy small joints, round muscle bellies,
Huge legs,
huge legs, arms.
His side leg reminds me of Kai.
Yes,
it's deadly, and I can say because I've been privy to this, he's better today at 2 weeks out than he was at any of these prior shows.
Wow.
And he was able to dry out really fast at those shows. He's ahead of where he's been prior. So whatever that means, I think we're going to see a really, really good Akeem.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on. 212 Olympia. A lot of times gets lost in the shuffle because all we like to talk about is open. But Keon Pearson is our reigning 212 Olympia champion. Many of us feel he's got some of the best genetics, if not ever, certainly of this generation of bodybuilders. The shape and structure on Keon, it's ridiculous. If you were an artist and you drew like the perfect physique, it would probably look something very similar to Keon Pearson. And he's another one that condition was sort of his downfall for a very long time. He's teamed up with Patrick Tour, and I think he's got a really good handle on it. Could he be a little tighter? Yeah, but I mean, what do you think of this overall package? It was good enough to beat our mutual friend Clarita.
Yeah. The wonderful thing about him is that for a while he was struggling, you know, mentally. One year he didn't do the Olympia because he just, you know, mentally couldn't handle it, and he was smart enough to take time and figure it out. And now his confidence is through the roof. He's still young and improving. And dude, he won last year at 199 pounds.
Wow.
So imagine what he's going to look like at 204, 205, 210. Like, he is so big in person that it's crazy. He looks like he's 260. And he was at the New York Pro, he was 230 when we were all training in the gym, and he was in great shape. And he looked like Vic Richards. He was so big and thick. And
look at this shot. Look at that. That is insane. Just the shape that, you know, people compare him to people like Flex, Sergio Oliva. There's been very few people have ever had this combination of fullness and structure. Look at that waist. You know, I'm a huge Sean Clarita fan. I love Sean, but I get it now. At the show, I was kind of upset. I really thought Sean should have won, but the more I've reviewed it's been almost a year. The more I've looked at footage and pictures, I think I get it now. I think I really get it.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was with you. I was like, I had Sean winning, period. And then when I watched Tyler's video explaining why,
yeah,
even if you're sitting right behind the judges, if you're not dead center, you can't see certain things. And Sean was having issues with his midsection, and I couldn't see it from where I was standing. But then when Tyler was showing those videos, you know, his front lat spread didn't have much taper. It looked more like almost muscular because something was going on with his stomach. I think he was just too heavy, period.
Yeah.
And Sean knows that. In January, we were at the gas gym in Texas doing a seminar, and I asked him, what do you got to do to get your title back? And he knew. He said, I was too heavy. I was too big. I'm not going to play that game. I'm going to play my game and just be peeled. He doesn't have to put on any more muscle, and he knows that. And I think we're going to see a very hard to beat Sean. But the problem is that Keon's got to be more than 15 years younger than Sean now.
Yeah.
And hungry and confident. So this is the battle I'm looking forward to more than anything.
Yeah, I mean it's great that we have Another great. I personally would like to see these two. I know it's not fair to them, but I'd like to see them trade off wins year after year, like back and forth. I'd like to
Yeah.
see the same thing with Derek and Hadi. I think that would be the most exciting thing for the sport, for those divisions. And I agree. Size-wise, he had enough size a couple years ago. He's good. He doesn't need to be. Obviously, we know he doesn't. He's about 180. I think didn't he come in close to 190 for this show though?
Yeah, whatever it was too heavy, and he knew that, and he actually spoke about it, and he's gonna correct that, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, wish him the best. And I mean, I said last year at the show, I don't think too many people would have been upset had he won, had he defended the title and got it another time. But we always like to see somebody get the title back because it's so rare that ever happens.
Right.
Once it's out of your grasp, most guys never see that title again. So
if it comes down to maturity, like physique maturity, Sean's gonna win hands down.
Yeah.
But Keon's physique is so pretty, and it's getting better, and he's just getting better at every part of competing as a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be hard for Sean to get that title back, but if anyone could do it, it's him. Yeah. Nobody works harder than that kid.
I'm sure he is on a mission right now. He is laser focused.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the guy who was third place last year. And this guy's won some open shows too, from Spain, Angel Calderon Frias. A guy, over here, I forget about him a lot of times. I mean, I'm awful. I forget about some of these really good guys from Europe, some of the good guys from Middle East, just because I don't see as much of them on social media posts and everything. But he's been as high as second a few years ago, I think 2019. I don't know if he's ever going to win, but I think he's always going to be a consistent top 5 guy as long as he wants to until he decides he's done.
Yeah. He's going to be rock hard because he competed this year in an open show and he was around 230.
Wow.
And he was hard as nails. So what's he going to look like at 212? Even if he was to lose a little bit of muscle, he's still a tank.
Right. Was he the one that was going to do the New York Pro, but he missed the weight and decided not to do it? That's somebody else.
God. No. I think he did do New York and he was in the open.
No, he was supposed to. God, I'm the worst. I can't remember crap. All right. So I better move on before I put my foot in my mouth again. All right.
Wrong Harris.
Wrong Harris. So here's a guy that was very, very close to a New York Pro. Ended up getting edged out by Ukraine's Ola Krivi, who was injured. He had to drop out. But this was 4th place in the Olympia last year. Kareth from New England. Connecticut is a New England state, guys. Don't think it's not. It is.
Yeah.
We love Kareth. Very, very humble guy, hardworking guy. Turned pro later than a lot of guys do in life. He's 40 or 40. Is he 40 now? Whatever he is.
42.
42? Yeah, but none the worse for wear. I think he looks fantastic and he's getting better and better. Could he possibly bump up from 4th place last year?
Yep. Yes. If he nails his condition, I've still yet to see him exactly where I want to see him condition-wise. Even if he's got to go down, he's got really small bone structure. Like, if he's got to go down to 200 pounds or 199, 198, he'll look freaky. And I think that's what he needs to do. He doesn't need to be 208, 205. I think he's got plenty to drop. I'd like to see him right in the 199, 198 area.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he needs any more size. I think he's great where he is right here. We talk about condition. I mean, he looks, most people would say, how do you get more condition than that? It's just a tiny, tiny bit more that if he had, I think he could leapfrog. I think people get mixed up by the veins too, thinking that's condition.
That's clarity. But you notice it on the stage. In pictures, he's crazy. But when you see him walk out next to, Sean, and Sean's skin is like cellophane, he's just got to be a little bit drier. That's it.
Yeah.
He's got everything. He's got everything else. You don't need anything. He's wider than Sean. Some of his poses are beautiful. He's very good at presenting his physique,
Yeah.
and he's very good on stage. So he just needs to be a little more conditioned, maybe a little more aggressive.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to be he's a very nice guy. He's a good guy. Sometimes you can't be the nice guy. Sometimes you got to be the a-hole up there. So,
Yes.
all right. Another guy that I hate to say, I forget about him sometimes. He's been in the top 5 for about 8 or 9 years now. Ahmad Ashkanani from Kuwait. This was a comparison in 22 to 23. So these are all recent things. He hasn't changed a whole lot. Another shorter guy with a tremendous back, thick. Yeah. I've seen his ups and downs where a couple of shows I was like, geez, what happened to him? But he seems like he's pulled it together again for the last couple of shows. He's been consistent. Do you think he's going to stay where he is, move up, go down? What do you see happening with Ahmad?
Again, he's another one. Unless he significantly improves his condition, I don't see him leapfrogging any of the top 3 guys. But that said, I think he's a shoo-in for top 5 again, just because per square inch, he's got the most muscle. He's balanced. He's got everything. He's not really a pose that's bad on him. Yeah. Probably has the best back in the 212. Like in that rear lat spread, he's so wide and full. He'd be really hard to knock out of there. He would have to be way off.
Yeah. So last guy,
I'd still like to see him 5% drier.
Yeah, this is Nasser on a lot of this thing. The list you'll see it's Nasser Muhammad. You'll also see him listed as Nasser Syed. He was 7th place last year. He's from Kuwait. I do expect him to be up there somewhere in that 6, 7, 8 range. Again, not lacking anything. This is a solid competitor right here. Yeah. Did you ever compete with him, or do you know much about him?
No. I know. I've followed him the last few years. He gets in great condition. I think he's a little taller. It makes his legs look a little thinner.
Okay.
I think he's probably 5'7".
Yeah, he looks like he's a little taller than the average 212 guy.
That's the problem. I mean, if you're over 5'5" as a 212, you're gonna have a tough time.
True. I can't remember the last time anyone over, say, 5'5" did very well as a 212. Like Dugdale was a little on the taller side.
He was probably 5'5.5", 5'6".
Zane Watson.
Flex was like the tallest that was dominant,
Man. All right. The last guy I want to talk about is because this is a crazy story. You know this guy very well. You're coaching him, aren't you?
No, it's Chris. Chris Aceto coaches him.
Oh, okay. Well, you train with him.
I just trained him. He came and stayed with me for a month.
Okay.
So, and trained him every day.
We're talking about Marcelo Alfonsi from Brazil. Where does he live now?
He's in Reno. He just did the Legion show.
Right. But where's he? Is he living in Brazil still?
I don't know. I think he's going to go back to Brazil. He was in Vancouver for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
I think he's going back to Brazil for a little bit. He's kind of a free spirit. He just goes wherever the wind takes him.
Wow. So tell me if this is right. Vancouver show earlier this year, he did the amateur pro qualifier.
Yes.
He won that.
Yes.
And he jumped into the 212 pro show the next day and won that.
No. He went into the pro open. They didn't have a 212.
Oh, so he did the open.
He did the open. I think he placed 7th.
Okay.
Which was pretty good. And then a few weeks later, he went to Chicago and won the 212.
Okay. So, all right. It was almost a perfect story. I was going to say he qualified for the Olympia the next day, but it was still only a difference of a few weeks. It was a few weeks later that he went from amateur to Olympia qualified super fast.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Lunsford did it in 1 week, but
and then 2 weeks after that, he went to Texas and placed 3rd behind Janowitz and Frias. What's his name?
Was it Angel?
No, he's Colombian, I think.
Francisco?
Yes, yes,
Mario.
yes.
Yeah, the young
Yeah.
kid. Cisco
Yep.
Barrio Vic. So yeah, there's he's been in some videos training with you and stuff. You put him through a lot of great workouts. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
first Olympia, he's gonna have a great time. Is that him? I don't know where he is there. But,
You
got a
know,
lot
I
of
he reminds me a lot of Eduardo, where he's so hard. He is like granite when you touch him, and he's heavy. He's like he got here and he was depleted at like 222. Within 10 days, he was 235
wow.
and in just the same condition.
Huh.
So he just did that show in the Legions at 221, peeled out of his mind. And you know, I think if he can make the weight and he's got a day and a half to carb up and really fill back out, he's going to be dangerous. In fact, I think it'd be it's I can't imagine him not being top 5 at the
Mm,
212.
wow. Yeah, I wouldn't write him off. That's
It's
definitely
the
one of my-
quality. Like some of the pictures you look at and you're like, ah, he looks a little thin. I can't tell. Like he's someone you have to see in person to truly appreciate the separation and detail and the muscle and the hardness and the fullness of his pecs are gigantic.
yeah, but just the fact that he's come so far in such a short time, it's impressive.
Yeah.
That's is this him 2018 to 2024?
Yep. Yep.
Got hair too. I mean, look at that. He was a smaller classic physique guy on the left there. He
Yeah.
wasn't even big for classic. Wow.
No, he's come a long way fast and he's meticulous. He lived with me. He literally cooked 6 meals a day in my kitchen.
Wow.
Six times a day. He didn't cook and then, you know, put it in the fridge and then heat it up. He cooked a friggin' 4-course meal 6 times a day.
Dang. Okay.
His family owns restaurants, so every
Oh,
one of his meals was like magazine worthy, like picture worthy.
right on.
Yeah.
Let's get some let's do some business. Let's get some people interested in some upcoming events here. Gym Hub Boston, which
Yep.
you're a mainstay at. You train clients out of there and a great friend and coach of the owner, Nate Tello. Want to let everyone know October 20th, it's a Sunday. There's going to be a stage ready posing seminar. So obviously a lot of people are getting ready for the New England show. A couple weeks after that are going to be at this, but anybody in the New England area, you want to learn from the very best, Jose, Justin Randall, Nate's girl, Christine, working with the female competitors. It's going to happen on a Sunday afternoon, so there'll be no traffic, plenty of parking. And I've been to a couple of these already, and they're great experiences. So get your butts down there and learn from the pros.
Yeah, it'll be packed. Last time was absolutely packed.
Yeah, as it should be. I mean, I think that's one of the things we see so glaring on a lot of competitors is their presentation is just it's cringy because they don't know any better. They've never had anyone to show them how to do it right. So go to this thing, guys. Jose, Justin, and Nate. I guarantee your posing is going to improve tremendously just in a couple hours working with these guys. They're seasoned veterans, especially Jose. There's not many people out there with more years and experience than Jose out there. So interesting stuff. And you'll get to meet Rocky the dog.
Rocky's the man.
Look at that. He's got the run of the place, this dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, there he is again. So yeah, great times. And just the gym in general. It's definitely, if you're in the city of Boston, this is the place to go to if you're a bodybuilder, class physique, men's physique, women's physique, figure, bikini, whatever. It's a very competitor-friendly atmosphere, awesome equipment, handpicked by Nate and Jose. They went all around the country. When Jay Cutler, 4-time Mr. Olympia, is in town, this is the gym he trains at, time after time.
Yep.
Get your butt down there, guys. All right, what else? Let's take that off. And follow Jose on his Instagram, the Boston Mass. 2 E's, guys. 2 E's, because he's that cool. He needed the extra E.
You got it.
Yeah. And man, Jose, I can't thank you enough. You're taking time out of your day. Almost an hour we've been yapping about this, but 2 guys
I'm going to get a massage now.
I was going to say there's only 3 people I really want to talk to about the Olympia. They were my bucket list guys for this year. It was Cutler, Flex, and you. and now I'm done. I got all three of you guys.
Good job.
But I mean, you know, none of you guys bullshit. You're all straight shooters. Tell it like it is. You give props, and you'll tell people what they need to work on when they need to. You guys have been up there. You can't say you're just like these armchair quarterbacks. You've been on that Olympia stage 10 times. You're up on stage in general about probably 100 times in your lifetime. So I appreciate your insights. And very few people have an eye for physiques like you do. You're one of my dream. If I'm ever blessed enough to do a bunch of these pay-per-view commentaries, and they say, who do you want as a co-host? If they ask me, say Jose Raymond. Come on, you crazy? I want Jose.
I'd love to do it.
I think we would knock it out of the park.
Absolutely.
All right, man. So, guys, that is it. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Like the video. Share it on your platforms. Ring that notification bell. Thank you again, Jose Raymond. Always a pleasure talking to you. And that has been our preview of the Open and 212 2024 Olympias. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right here next time.